Good morning, July 30th, 2024, 9 o'clock a.m. and 45 seconds. Oh, why does he bother telling us the number seconds? I don't know. Such a Doug. So I was planning to do two shows this morning, a short one, then a longer one, and I was going to explore more into copyrighted music, but I have three significant questions in channel comments. So we're going to go there because that always takes priority over what I want to do. Let's go to this Zoom level. From 22 hours ago, John Downey, enjoyed the show. I have a question. I purchased a 4 terabyte SSD with a USB 3.2 Type-C. Is there a router that I can connect this to? Yes. And create a DIY, do-it-yourself NAS. I have looked but can't find one. Maybe you could discuss this in one of your upcoming shows. I am currently using a Western Digital My Cloud. And John asked this question in chat yesterday. I think I didn't see it until after the show, and so I was planning to respond to it even if he didn't put a comment into chat. The catch here, the thing is, he's got a USB Type-C on his external hard drive, and all the routers come with USB Type-A USB ports for connecting an external drive. Just get a cable. All you need there is a cable to do from C to A. Be sure the cable is capable of the speeds that you want. But since it's going to be USB-C on one end and USB-A on the other, chances are it is going to be a fast cable. But be sure you got all your speeds synchronized. You could simply use a Type-A to Type-C adapter. My concern about that is you're just putting an extra element into the mix that could go wrong. Also, by buying a cable that's Type-A to Type-C, you can get whatever length is really most convenient to you. But as far as a router that has a Type-C, I think you're correct. They're not out there yet. But there's really no advantage to that. As long as you match the generation of the USB ports between a Type-A and a Type-C, you'll be fine with that. So let's see, John Downey, is he in chat? I have things set up a little different. So I got to come over here and pop out chat and see if he's here. If he's not here, I'm going to send him a link to this point in the video because I know that I've seen John Downey around, but he's not always here with us, and he's not here yet this morning anyway. And we'll go on to the other two comments and channel comments in a little bit here. Hello to Darren Gilholm, Chris Garrett, Jonathan Alice, Jeff Ryman, Mike Wojcik, Rick Lakes, Ran Israel, Zvi Menor, Mike Wojcik, Rick Lakes. Said those two already. Jonathan again also. And just trying to catch other names. Frosty Winnipeg, hello. Okay, so then let's go back to the next. Have I answered everything? I think I've answered everything that I intended to on that question. Although I did have some more tabs available. There's some travel routers. You can see a USB Type-C port on them, but that's for providing power to them. That's not really intended for NAS functions. They do have a USB Type-A even on those travel routers. Kerry Holzman, yeah, here's the other thing I wanted to show. Kerry Holzman has a video on his channel. This is his video for today that I have a redirect set up, but I went to his channel because I know he's done videos on that and did a magnifying glass search for router NAS. And here's the first one, how to share a USB drive with all of your computers easily by using your ASUS Wi-Fi router as a NAS. The ASUS isn't unique in being able to do that as far as I know. I think there's a lot of them out there that can do that. And I think he's told us already that he has one, right? Is there a router that can, well, no, he didn't. He might already have a router that has a type A port on it, and meaning you've already got what you need there. There were some other responses in chat yesterday to his question. Why did that happen? Oh, I see. I had a tab there I wasn't expecting to see. Yeah, over here, John Downey, this is where I captured his comment from chat yesterday. I purchased a 4 terabyte SSD with a USB 3.2 type C. So you want to make sure your router's type A port, if you buy a router specifically for this, be sure that it is 3.2 or up to the speed. I don't have all of that memorized, the different levels of USB 3, but there are speed differences. So make sure you get compatible speeds there. Yes, things are reverse compatible, sure, but you want to get the best speed that you can out of your USB 3.2 type C. And then Ran Israel replied, there are many routers with USB ports that can do file sharing. Just need USB to C to A adapter. So yes, you could do it with an adapter. I'd rather have a cable that has the right ends on each side rather than throwing another element in the mix that could go wrong. But if you happen to have an adapter on hand, fine, just use it. And don't worry about buying a cable unless you decide that you want to. Alice, I tried to get SpeakerBot on my PC. This is a question that came in yesterday, so I have this question to deal with and 2 more in channel comments. Oh, I love it. Good day. I tried to get my SpeakerBot on my PC. It just gave me a bunch of files, don't know what to do. I put a link in here, SpeakerBot Get Started Installation. So it takes you to this page. Let's get this link into chat. I don't know if that's the link that you got to. I think there's other links that you might have gotten to that didn't take you down this path, or this might be the path that you went down. Here's SpeakerBot, download and install a stable version. So I'm going to click on that to download it, and it's downloading up here. And I'm thinking that what she's referring to about a list of files we're going to get to in a moment here, that is done. Now I'll go to that folder, and then I'll right click on that zip file. I'm just going to unzip it right here in downloads folder, which is not my normal thing to do, but for demonstration purposes and expediency, this would be the list. This might be the list of files that she was referring to that she was left with. Replace files. Oh, that folder already exists there because I did this yesterday. I'll skip these files. It's going to take us to the folder. List of files, and then we're in the SpeakerBot. SpeakerBot is a standalone program or portable program, so you don't need to install it. And if this is the list of files that you're referring to, just double click on this and that launches the program, and you're right there. Ran Israel, you're right. I should have written adapter cable. Yeah. So he's with me on that about preferring to get, well, you could do an adapter or a cable. I was reading that from the chat message on UBS, OBS. By the way, USB-A is limited to 10 gigabits per second or lower. USB-C can go faster. Now, USB-A has different generations. So that's not, you can have USB-A 2.0 and 3.0 and 3.1, 3.2. I'm not sure what all levels that USB-A goes to, but you'd want to get the highest USB-A router port to get the most out of that SSD that you have. So this USB-A limited to 10 gigabits is, which generation is that? 3.2, 3.3, whatever those numbers are. Let's see, I got through all of that. Yeah, so I'm up to date there. And I'll come back to, where will I come back to? Yeah, we did the SpeakerBot stuff, and that was for, I got to get to my right place here. What was that one up for anyway? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, this was Alice that was asking for that. And Alice is in chat. So Alice, did that answer your question about SpeakerBot? Let's see. So we got through that one. Yes. So now I think we're ready to go back to channel comments. Is there a question in chat today? Well, here's Randy Israel replying to that. 2.0 is 480 megabits, 3.0 5 gigabits, 3.1 10 gigabits. Now, won't the type A go a little bit higher than that? Alice says yes, it's useful. Thank you, Randy Israel. Then there's 3.1 Gen 1. Oh yeah, okay. So I knew I didn't quite have that right. 3.1 Gen 1. The 3.1 here, is that the Gen? 3.2 Gen 2, 3.2 Gen 2 by 2. Okay, there's a 3.2 Gen 2, there's a 3.2 Gen 2 by 2, which is just another way to say 3.0, 3.1, 3.2. Sorry, 3.2 Gen 1. Oh, he meant to say 3.2 Gen 1 there. So there's a Gen 1 in 3.2. Not confusing at all. What does it matter? The speed depends on the bandwidth between the computer and the router and the disk. The speed depends on the bandwidth between the computer, the router, and the disk. Well, he's connecting an SSD directly to the router. So the computer's not involved in that connection. The computer's involved between the router and the computer. The connection that we're concerned about is the SSD connecting to the router. And that's where we're concerned about the speeds. Hello, Chris Garrett. And you actually went live on a day I can watch. I heard your speculation last night, Chris, about Doug may not be live today because every time you seem to be available, I canceled last week. Yeah, that was it. I knew that Chris was available, so I canceled on those days. Ran Israel, correct that this one here was supposed to be 3.2 Gen 1. Because, yeah, that makes sense. USB-C port, but only USB 3.0 speed on this router. So here, Wintermute found a router that actually has a USB-C 4. Now here's Type C USB 3.0 port, Type A USB 3.0 port, and there's a power connection. So this is a higher end router, it appears to be. Yeah, Archer 6000, and let's see, yeah, with all these antennas. So if you're not needing massive Wi-Fi strength, then this router might be overkill for you. Now this is on TP-Link's website. So is this actually available through Amazon? Let's see. Usually when people, I figure when people take us to the manufacturer's site, it might not be available on Amazon. So AX6000, yeah, there we go, 139, not bad. 8 stream smart Wi-Fi router. Yeah. Lots of capabilities built into that, I'm sure. So that would get a 3.0 direct connection for his 3.0 native SSD. For John Downey, John Downey hasn't shown up in chat today, so I will be sending him a link because he's not with us every day. And let's see, did I finish that? Yeah, using a Western Digital My Cloud. That's the drive that he's using. So then I think we're going to move on to Janet. Just make sure we got everything. Usually go to lunch. But during my show time, I have a TP-Link AC 4000 works just fine for Chris. Right? That is that one. Okay, moving on to the next. Janet Minjek. We've seen Janet a few times. She's actually been in Zoom with us. I'm quite sure. Why does my flash drive show up with the same letter twice on laptop? That is a feature. I've seen people complain about that, starting with Windows 10, but it is actually considered by Microsoft to be a feature. So I have a demonstration set up on Baby Beast for that. So here's Baby Beast. And turn on those picture-in-pictures. I have...
Manor said, sorry, the files you want read or write is over the network, so the speed depend the network speed. No?
Yeah, the speed that you would get to an individual computer, but what if multiple computers are pulling from that USB drive? If that USB had a faster connection to the router than the computer was capable of, multiple computers could be accessing that USB drive at the same time and still get the speed that their computers are capable of, if they're not capable of the highest speed that the router and the USB is capable of. The files you want to read or write is over the network, so the speed depends upon the network speed. Yeah, you would need to have that network speed up to the speed capability if you're counting on that speed for one computer to that. But you want to share files. That's the whole reason to connect this to a router, to share files among other computers. So to get your good speed from multiple computers, it would be okay if the speed between the computers and the router was less than the USB drive to the router. That's a real edge case. Yeah. But that would be why he said this. And why does it matter? Speed depends on the bandwidth between the computer and the router and the disk. So if he's trying to get the most speed between the SSD and the router, that would be because, assumingly, that he's got high speed to his computers and or has multiple computers. Same later twice. It's not the brand of the flash drive that's doing that. That's a Windows thing, and I'm going to demonstrate that here. I set up file sharing on my new build last night, was able to see folders and files from my old desktop turn off overnight. My new build is not visible. I have that may be because the visibility from Windows 10 to the Windows 11, there might be an issue going on there. Make sure both computers are set for private network. If one of them set for public network, then you might be able to get a one-way visibility. Set up file sharing, was able to...
Tim Tech said, hello, Doug HRU.
Hi, Tim, I'm fine. Was able to see folders and files from the old desktop turned off overnight. New build is not visible. Well, my new build from the old desktop. Oh, I see what you're saying. We turned it off overnight and now it's not visible, where originally it was visible before turning it off. Peer-to-peer file sharing uses a thing called, what is the name of that? Master Browser, I think was the name. Now, I haven't seen any conversation about that since Windows 95. But one of the computers in the network will be declared as the master browser, and it provides visibility to all the other computers. It could be the case that when you shut down, let's see, both computers or just one of them, turned off overnight. I don't know if you turned off both of them, but it could be the master browser issue. Now, if you go to your Windows key R, / twice, and then type the name of the other computer, that can help you regain visibility to the other computer. I'm trying to see what is the name of Baby Beast here. So let's see, Doug-BB Baby. So Doug-BBB. Well, I'm not even typing. Click in the field, Doug. Yeah, and it shows up when I start typing because this computer is seeing it already. If it doesn't pre-fill that for you, then it's not seeing it yet. But if you type the whole thing out, it'll go search the network and possibly find it that way. So this shows up the shared resources on BBB Baby, baby, something like that. Okay, so I got to get back to this question about the double visibility from Janet Menchek. The double visibility of a flash drive or any USB connected devices. So here's Baby Beast in File Explorer. Let's turn off, let's leave that picture in picture. Over here, we see my USB connected. There's a external drive showing up here, and there's a USB drive here. When I expand this PC, they also show up here. I think this is what Janet is referring to, and this was a feature that my Windows came up with, I believe, starting with Windows 10, where they will show detachable drives separate from this PC, and that was supposed to be advantageous to us. Let's see, can I? No, I don't have that mouse thing turned on over there for the arrows to point to it. I don't think, can I? I'm going to try something here. If I do this and then this, that gives me the ability to point. This mouse can go across two baby bees, but when it goes across there, I no longer have that arrow pointing capability because that's a software that is on Big Beast Build. All right. Now I had some tabs shown up here to why does my flash drive show up with the same? I took her, I copy and pasted, and then there's another one that takes us to this. Windows 10 shows the same drive letter for USB when plugged in twice. File Explorer, and this explains that. Let me go put that into chat. And that's kind of long, so I just put that in as is, and then come back here. And this link does give a fix if you really don't want that. And they're showing how it appears here twice under this PC and then separately. It's not indented there. So these are not sub-items of this PC. These are sub-items of this PC. And in here they give a way to fix that in the registry if you just really, really, really don't want it. But once you understand that it is just a function of showing things that are available in this PC, you see any drives that are available, even if they are USB, but then on this navigation panel, it shows your removable devices separate from this PC. There's some interesting reading in that in that Microsoft.com answers, because there's a place in there where a Microsoft representative gives the instructions of repairing your Windows installation and reinstalling Windows to try to fix it. They're totally, totally uninformed. Seldom Ball reporting, for what it's worth, I hear thunder here on the other side of the continent from Doug. And Jeff Ryman's, let's see, am I ready to move on? Yeah, Jeff is talking about, in fact, that computer doesn't show up in network on itself. Oh, yes. So if you, that good point, because here, Big Beast Build, this is a good way to troubleshoot this. When you find your computer name for your computer, and I've used this troubleshooting technique many times. The computer that I'm looking at right now is Doug-BB. If you do Windows key R / Doug-BBB, and it doesn't come up, that means sharing is not enabled on that computer, or there's something wrong with sharing on that computer. Now I'm going to come down here to the bottom right. Okay, let's come on, Doug. You're supposed to start doing these arrow stuff. Yeah, down here on the computer monitor, then click twice gets rid of that arrow. Right click there, network and internet settings. Now, wait a minute, did it also have, no. Let's see, and then the sharing center, advanced network settings, network adapters, where was sharing in here? With all the different versions, it does get muddled. Let's look at, can I actually search straight to sharing? Manage advanced sharing settings. Okay, go into here. Network discovery we want on. Set up network connected. File and printer sharing would need to be turned on. This is showing public networks. It's turned off. All networks, public folder sharing. So these are all things for you to look at, Jeff. And then your private network. Right click down on that network icon and then network and internet sharing. And right up here, we want to see private network on your Windows 11. If it says public network here, then click on this right here to get to a screen where you can change it from private to public. Because by default, the Windows firewall settings say we're not going to share resources on a public network, because that's like when you're in a coffee shop and you don't want them. Jeff says both are private. Both are private. Both of the computers are showing as private. Then another thing to do is the built-in Windows troubleshooting. I have seen that fix the problem where all your settings seem to be right and it still doesn't work, and the diagnose network problems and the diagnostic features, the troubleshooting features built into Windows will reset your network adapter and sharing features. And I've had that fix the issue before. So you're connected to the internet. We didn't find any problems. It may actually find a problem there, or you go to, let's see, need more help. On both of the computers, you could be doing this. But you said that the new computer can't see itself, right? Both machines configured for private is network. That was from Ran Israel. That computer doesn't show up on itself. I think that's the new one, right? I should be showing what I'm looking at here to get the rest of Jeff. I'm going to do search for Jeff. So I make sure I get all of it. Oh, this using computer name in search works, but the same computer still doesn't show in network. Oh, when you're browsing the network, I have seen that on occasion and I just have not worried about it. Down here, if you're not seeing it in browsing the network, but you can use this searching for it that way and attach to a resource, but it doesn't show up in browsing. That browsing function came up in Windows 95, and by my observation, it never did work very well. Let's see if I've got all of Jeff's comments. Let's go back up here to the beginning of Jeff's world. Set up sharing on my new build last night. Was able to see folders and files from my old desktop. Turned off overnight, now build. So this presumes that he was able to see folders and files by going through that browsing, this browsing the network this way. Because that's what he's saying is no longer working. If I'm understanding right, Windows 10 Pro on both PCs. Oh, not Windows 11. All right. Glad I went back and checked on this. Turned off both computers overnight. Computer name, that browser thing in File Explorer, I think that is what is dependent upon the master browser function. And I tried, but I never did find a way to manually set the master browser. Now, another thing that might work is putting in designation in the hosts file, but yeah, I don't know. Will that get it to work in browsing the network here? Yeah, I don't know. Now, another thing you might do is shut the computers down and restart them in the opposite order. Which one did you turn on first? Maybe you turned them both on. Try clearly turning one on first, wait a few minutes, turn on the other, then do it the opposite way. You might find turning one of them on before the other gives you different results. Computer doesn't show up in network on itself. Oh, okay, so I think you're saying there, the computer doesn't show up in here, but when you do Windows key R, it does show up. That goes back to what I think is the master browser as perhaps the culprit. Are both machines configured for private network and network discovery enabled? Jeff says both are private. Both have network discovery enabled. Yes, the new one doesn't show up on itself, but it does show up with Windows key R and typing in the name of itself. It doesn't show up in here, if I'm understanding correctly. Do you care? I tried to resolve that, and I got to a point where I said, I don't care. I can work around it. It's just a Windows 95 thing that's never been fixed, never was very good, and you can easily work around it. Yeah, Greg M., I've seen this browsing issue since Windows 7. I've seen it since Windows 95. There's a service that you can try stopping, FDResPub, and start that same service. So Windows key R, services.msc, spell it right, .msc. I still got another comment to get to. In channel comments, I do have a redirect set up for Kerry Holzman's show. What I'm supposed to be going for is FDResPub. I clicked on one of those and typed the letter F. I don't see FDResPub as a service. Try stopping. How about in here? In Task Manager, FDResPub. Let's make that big. Sort by name. FDResPub would be down in this section, or wasn't there. Come down here, Windows processes, and I don't have an FDResPub there either. So do we get anything more about that FDResPub? Where it is, that was from Greg M. Okay, let me get to my last channel comment. So we dealt with Janet's question. P. Jackson from the Xfinity Comcast video. This came in 34 minutes ago. Well, let me do a refresh here and see how long ago that really was. 1 hour ago now. P. Jackson, I had this problem with 1200 PBPS. I think that might be a typo. I'm not sure what P would be at the beginning. Plan from Xfinity. After calling them out on this issue, they checked and found that the service was provisioned correctly. Now, I don't know if calling them out on this issue, does that mean calling them on the phone and saying, hey, I have this issue? Is that what calling them out? Or does that mean they actually came out on site? They don't have to come out on site to see that it's provisioned correctly. Before being corrected, I was getting 250, 350 megabits per second. Maybe that's what he meant, megabits per second. And after, I was getting 750 to 850. So they did improve it. But keep in mind, my modem is capable of 2 gigabits per second, 2000 megabits per second. And the router was also a top-end unit. With 10 plus connections, I can still see 500 to 700 megabits per second. I was in the same mindset as Eric was in this video. Get what you're paying for. Well, you're not going to like my answer, my response to that, P. Jackson. Get what you're paying for. What Comcast promises is up to a certain speed. They don't promise that speed. They have a percentage number that they expect you to get up to that, but they don't expect for you to be able to get that on every PC when you have multiple PCs connected to it. They expect to get up to that speed, to the Comcast device at your home. Now, I know you have a high-end router. You have a high-end modem. Now, but again, they don't promise that you'll get that speed. They guarantee that you won't get over that speed, although some people have got over the speed that they were paying for. The nature of how their system works, it's a star distributed system where they've got pipes going out to different regions in your area. And then there's a device that branches out to multiple devices. And then each one of those lines branches out to multiple devices. Out on the street, on the curb at my home, there is a device that branches between my house and the neighbor's house. Every 2 houses in this neighborhood has a distribution device right out at the street that covers 2 houses. All of those distribution sites go to a neighborhood center. I think there's maybe 2 or 3 of them. and then those all combine to go somewhere else. In a star distributed system like that, you're not going to be able to get the highest level speed at every endpoint. It's just not going to happen. So people in different parts of the town their mileage is going to vary depending upon how much traffic there is on the shared pipes upstream from them. You're not paying for 1200 megabits per second. You're paying for up to 1200 megabits per second. That is the plan that they have you provisioned for. Now they have your 250 to 350 was too low. That is below the threshold of what they expect you to get. I believe I was told at one point that they expect 80%. Now you still seem a little bit slow for this. There can be problems in the cabling from your home out to that distribution point that's at your curb. There can be cabling problems between that to another device. So if that number is truly below the threshold that they accept, then you can keep calling them. And I have seen them keep coming out, sending out a different skilled technician who is responsible for a different piece of the transmission. And I have seen them fix things to build the speed up and up and up. Now, it seems to me that perhaps your, let's see, what does he say? Yeah, get what you're paying for. It's not real clear if you're content at this level. Chances are if you can get that up to 950 or even 1100 or even 1200, chances are you're not going to see any perceptible difference. So is it really worth your time to pursue that? It depends upon what other things you have available to do with your time. If you're just intrigued by it, then yeah, keep calling them and see if you can get them to come out and investigate further. It's not always coming to your house. They might be coming to one of the other level distribution points. They might be checking to see what other complaints they have had in your branches of the distribution. If they find there's a lot of complaints that are complaining within the orbit, within the world, within the realm of a distribution point that's 6 levels up from you, when they go out to investigate that, you're not even going to see their van because they're going to be that far away from you. But if that is below their threshold, keep calling them and keep getting them to investigate further, because they will investigate one piece at a time. It is the nature of how they do things. So that is more than I described in that video back there. P. Jackson, I wish you contentment with whatever internet speed you wind up settling for. It is a matter of settling for when it's good enough for you. My speed is significantly below what I'm paying for, but it is sufficient for me. Okay, that took care of all of those questions that came through in channel comments. P. Jackson is the only one that's not around that I haven't seen before, so I guess I need to give that spiel. P. Jackson, what we do around here, we're here six days a week. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Saturdays, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Saturdays includes Zoom session. And what this channel is all about, the primary purpose and function, is to respond to people's questions that come in chat, comes in comments on videos, or comes to me by email at this email address that's on your screen right now. I don't know how to count on my fingers. That's just too complex. So I encourage you to come ask questions anytime you got an issue, Windows computing related, and some peripheral type things. You don't have to hang around to ask questions like you do on Discord and what's that other one? I don't know. When I go try to ask questions on there, they won't let me ask questions, or they won't be friendly to me until they know me and they want me to come over and over and over. No, that's not the way it is here. Okay. SpeakerBot. Has SpeakerBot not been heard all this time? Really? Has there been no SpeakerBots? And go search for exclamation marks. I thought I heard a speaker bot. 9, where is it? Oh no, that's in that chat message.
Greg M said your speaker bot wake
Yeah,
up.
yeah, it's working. It's working. There just hasn't been very many of them, I guess. That one should have come through. The files you want read or writers over the network. So this, yeah, I think that one came through. I remember responding to it. Yeah, and Tim Tech, it came through. So what is he saying there? I don't know. Whoa, how did that zoom down? I was using my scroll wheel and just all of a sudden the zoom went way down. I did a...
Greg M said speaker bot volume low.
Oh, really? Speaker bot volume. Oh, that could be. Desktop audio turned down. I turned it all the way up to the maximum now. Be careful of your ears when somebody else tries that, but I don't think it'll be overbearing. Go ahead and try it. Yeah, I'll put in an exclamation mark. Yes.
Yes, affirmative.
Yeah, that's just bouncing into the yellow. That's probably what happened. Turning on the computers and reboot the routers, a suggestion.
Jim KJ3N said, does this guy know what he's doing?
Usually not. I don't even remember seeing Brian, so I don't think I'm gonna get scammed. I just turned off SpeakerBot so I can do my end screens. Tried random, not worked. Oh, he tried random, but I'll turn that back on.
Zvimana said I tried random.
Was
Not
I on the
worked.
main camera?
Shunseti.
I'd have to be on the main
Jonathan
camera.
said wonka wonka wonka.
Oh, that's right. When I turn the commands off, they get held. Then when I turn it on, they'll come through. So go ahead and try a random. There's this delay. Thank you, Tim. This latency. There's a V with a R. Ooh, I don't see a random happening. Well, let's go investigate that. Let's see, those are the guidelines. Here's random. It's enabled. Now I have to be on here. I'm going to do a test trigger for random. I don't see a random happening. All right, I will check on that offline. All right, here we go. Commands are turned off and in screen, here we go. You can watch this video to see how to get free support through this YouTube channel, this video to see how to get paid support directly from me in private sessions, this video to see how to turbocharge your troubleshooting experience by interacting with this channel, and this video is a recent video on my channel, YouTube suggests. Have a great day. Catch you later, everybody. Goodbye.